Welcome back. This is the day after talking Oregon sports. I am Randy, the War Duck, and welcome to the 2025-26 season. And as Dan Lanning says, we are doubling down. So, we had the first game yesterday, and that game was against Montana State, which is a sub-level team, and as accordingly, I think the Ducks did what the Ducks needed to do. They needed to come out, be efficient, and show that, unlike last year, they were going to start a little faster, which I think they pretty much accomplished. So let's just take a look at a few highlights to get this started. And here we go. So this is Noah Whittington breaking a big run to start the game. I think it's really good to see him back. He looks a lot faster, a lot better than he did at the end of last year. I think that injury just lingered for him, and he never really got back on track. He looked really good today, or yesterday. Dante Moore, this is him showing that he can use his feet and get the first down. One thing, though, for Dante Moore is it's a long season. I would have liked to seen a little slide there. I think he took a little too much contact when he ran. I mean, it's nice to see that he's willing, but it's a long season, and we need him to stay healthy that whole time. So I'd like to see him maybe start sliding a little bit. Unless you need that extra hard yard, I get it. Then sure, put your body on the line, get that extra hard yard. But in a game like this where you really didn't need to do any of that, I think, just get your first down, get the slide, stay healthy, and then we'll continue on from there. All right. Next up, we got Jaden Lamar's very first touch of the game. He goes, 19, 17 yards for the touchdown. Good to see him running. Also nice and healthy. The replay this here. Yeah, man, he looked fast. So there's a couple defensive plays here. Nice big hit. And then we got Washington, I think, in the backfield, shutting the play down. And our defense, lived in the backfield all day. Yeah, here's Washington shutting it down, which they should against a sub-level team. Oregon's got the better, bigger players at this point. And this is kind of the thing all day is Oregon did what they needed to do. They showed what they needed to do. Here's a block punt. Partially block punt. Shows, those Oregon players playing really hard. And now we got, DeCorian Moore here with his, I think this was his first touch. This kid is going to be something else. And he had a pancake block in the game that was just absolutely beautiful. He made a few catches in the game. I thought for one of the few true freshmen, on offense, I thought he played exceptionally well. Dan Lanning hasn't been somebody that normally starts a bunch of true freshmen, but this kid, I think, is going to be something special, and we're going to see that more-to-more connection a lot more. And then here, we get to see Kenyon Sadiq being Kenyon Sadiq. You're never going to tackle that guy if you take him up high. He rumbles in. I think that was also his first reception of the game. And, of course, it goes for a score there. So, that gets the highlights out of the way. I didn't want to show too much of that because, you always get copyright and that kind of stuff. So let's jump into the stats. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that. There's not a lot to talk about that I want to talk about this game other than, Oregon did what Oregon had to do. They had to come out, they had to start fast and avoid that same scenario of last year. and just really get confidence in the guys that were playing and get some things, situated, make a few tweaks. I think the play calling was probably super duper vanilla. They probably ran, just a few plays with different variations. And I think that's what you really had to do with a brand new quarterback, a brand new team, a bunch of new people starting on the offensive line. Even though there's a whole bunch of starts, just kind of getting that chemistry and putting those things together. So, something I wanted to say here, though, was there was 12 freshmen that played in this game, which was a huge change from last year. I think there was maybe only 2 or 3 last year that started in the first game of the season opener. But you had 2, and you had 10 more, 2 freshmen and 10 more that played for the first time. So you had running back Jordan Davis, running back Dahir Hill Jr., wide receiver DeCorian Moore, wide receiver Cooper Perry, offensive line Addison, offensive line Dimitri Manning, offensive line Douglas Utu, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Defensive line Matthew Johnson, linebacker Nazir Watt, linebacker Gavin Nix, cornerback Brandon Finley, and cornerback Naeem Offord. Those are your 12 freshmen that played. And Jordan Davis became the first Oregon running back to rush for 3 touchdowns in a season opener. So, as a super promising running back, he now holds the record. That's not what we're done. He now holds the record for most touchdowns in a season opener. So, as a team, Oregon gets 29 first down, 7 of 10 third down efficiency, fourth down efficiency 2 for 2, rushing yards 253, passing yards 253, yards per game 506. Oregon had 3 sacks, no interceptions, no punts, had 3 penalties for 29 yards. Not great, but I'll take 3 penalties a game if that's what you're going to be. 1 fumble loss and time possession. But in a game like this, these stats aren't real meaningful. I do like the exact rushing yards and passing yards for, showing super balanced. So this is something also I was really, really glad we got to see, because I always wonder when it's kind of a blowout game, you're in the third quarter, and you don't see the backup quarterbacks in. That bothered me a lot when I saw it with Bo Nix all the time, and I saw it with Dylan Gabriel. I just thought that there should have been some of the backups in a lot more, but, that's a coaching decision, and Dan Lanning's a super smart coach and way smarter than me. I just like to see it because it shows me that they're building for the future. And that. So it was really good to see Austin Novosad in there, and even Luke Moga got to play a little bit. I thought Austin Novosad looked pretty good in there. He was 1 for 2. That first pass was a little low on the legs, and then his second pass was beautiful down the line, setting up the score. I thought, Dante Moore had a good game. There was a couple drops, especially the one from Sadiq. Normally pretty sure-handed, but, that's going to happen, especially in the first game. Got to get your mind right and everything. But Dante Moore was 18 for 23, 213. Austin Novosad had the 1 pass for 40 yards. So pretty good there. Man, what do we have? We had 12 different rushers on here for 254 yards, a 6.7 average. We're not going to get into that too much because, like I said, this game isn't made. Then we had 10 different receivers, which is also really good to see. 5 catches, 1, 4, 3, 1, right, for 19 receptions. So, the that's a 13.3 average. It just goes to show that Dante Moore was taking the easy thing, was passing it around, distributing it, not getting locked in on one player. I thought the game overall seemed really efficient. Oregon had no negative plays that I remember or that were recorded, as far as I know. So another huge positive. There was a couple plays that like the running backs getting hit in the backfield and still making a positive play, and that's huge for Oregon. So I didn't want to get into the stats too much because on when you're playing a sub level team, of course you're supposed to be able to do all this. But I think Oregon was maybe 9 for 9 or maybe higher for scoring drives, with no punts. So, the next game, though, we got Oklahoma State against Oregon, and this was a really good matchup until Oklahoma State starting QB went down. I think he had the broken bone in his foot, and he will not play against this game, which drastically changes the look of this game. I think this game is now probably a 17 to 3 touchdown favorite now, where maybe before it was a 10 to 14 point game. Oregon looks to be that they will run away with this game with Oklahoma State going to their backup. But you never know. Oregon has a history of struggling with backup QBs. But in every category, Oregon pretty much dominated, except they did. So with that, I don't know. It should be Oregon going 2-0. I don't see this game being a huge struggle. It will be on CBS at 12:30. So hope to see you there. But we're not gonna drag this on. Just gonna say it's good to be back. It's good to be watching Oregon football again on this season. And yeah, with that, we're out of here for now. Much love all. We will catch you next week.